Hello, Gemini, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 3rd through the 9th. And during that time, we mostly have a waning gibbous moon. So we're coming off of that full moon energy. And now it's a time of self reflection and rebirth. We're making positive changes and getting rid of that bad habits, negative thinking that we might have, and just working towards achieving our goals and accomplishments. That's all week. So just buckle down and work on some things. We then have the last quarter moon, which is a little bit, we're kind of starting to wrap up those things that we've been working on. Things are coming to fruition and we're kind of reflecting, okay, this thing was working, maybe this thing didn't, getting to our full potential and starting to thinking of things that we might want to make adjustments on or things that we might want to do for the next cycle as it rolls around. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Gemini. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is don't let your past hold you back. All right, let's see what the Gemini Collective has going on for this week. As I'm shuffling, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you try to take a little bit of time to meditate this week. So, even if it's just, a couple of 15-minute sessions, maybe, one day and a couple days later, I don't know, whatever you can do. If you do it daily, that's fine. But just take some time to quiet your mind, get somewhere where it's nice and quiet and just kind of go within and just let everything go for a little bit. I think we can all afford to take, you know, uh, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 15 if you can, or more. Some people are apt to do more. I tend to really have to focus if I'm going to do more than just 5 or 10 minutes. It's very hard for me to settle down. I'm very hyper. So if that's you, guided meditations with headphones. And I get very distracted by noises. So even if I just try to be quiet in the house, I'll hear a car go by or airplane. All right, these cards are not trying to shuffle. Airplane go by or then a neighbor kid or just some noise, I just, noises are very distracting for me and it's very hard for me to meditate. But with headphones and maybe some music playing or guided meditation, that really helps. So, but that is my fun weekly reminder is that you try to get some time to meditate, Gemini. All right, let's get into this reading. We've got May 3rd through the 9th. Don't let your past hold you back. Your present energy right now, 7 of Wands here. So feeling a little bit like you against the world. And maybe that is something from your past. Maybe it's just a past attitude, a past way of being, something that happened in the past where you've always felt this way, you against the world. And maybe it's time to just have a little examination of that. Don't let your past hold you back, but at least take the time to know yourself, to know why you're feeling like that. Why do you feel like you against the world? Why do you feel this pushback? And if you do feel that, and take the time to identify what it is so that you can kind of work through it, because nobody wants to feel like that all the time, right? I mean, we all feel that way from time to time, but if that's kind of a general energy for you, you may want to understand the why of it. Learn about yourself. Your current situation right now is the Four of Pentacles. So, it could be something about your stability, about your material stability, financial stability, that you're just feeling like it's you against the world, like you just can't ever just get ahead. But, again, examine that, take the time to examine your stability. Maybe you're just more stable than you think and you're feeling that way for no reason. There could be that, maybe you weren't as stable in the past and you're just kind of still carrying that feeling, so just again, go ahead and try to know yourself and just examine. When we have a feeling that's like that and it's recurring over and over, you do have to stop and go, what am I doing? What is this thing I'm doing? Why am I feeling like this? And is it real? Or is it something that is from my past? At the root of your situation is, yeah, your overall happiness here with the 10 of Cups. This is the happiest card in the deck. And maybe this is something that's kind of a barrier to that for you, that your overall happiness would just be improved if it's, and I almost get the feeling of fighting a battle that doesn't even exist. Like you're fighting the world and nobody's fighting you. You're stable and you're fine. But again, it's sometimes we just get into a habit, a way of being, and things change and get better. And it's like we're still doing the thing, even though it's better. So look around for that in that in your life right now this week. In your recent past, here is the Fool card. So it looks like you've recently taken off onto a new journey, and it could be about this. It could be just a little bit more self examination that you're like, maybe I do. Maybe this thing that someone pointed out to me, maybe I am kind of like that. And is there a way for me to maybe lighten up a little bit and not kind of feel that pushback or feel like I'm constantly battling? What is on your mind this week is the Queen of Wands. So this would be kind of the understanding of the things that you're very passionate about, and it's on your mind to even understand the whys of that. Again, that's that self-knowledge, that just know thyself. It's really good advice to just examine yourself sometimes, and understand, why is it that I'm so passionate about this thing that I'm so passionate about? What is it? What's the driver there? And that's a good thing to have those kind of passions, but it is also really good to understand those things about yourself, just so that you know who you are. That's a good thing to do. What is just ahead of you this week is the Five of Cups. So a little bit of sadness and something, and maybe it's letting this go. Maybe this is learning about something about yourself that you're kind of doing this pushback thing, and there's no need to. You're on a new journey to know yourself better. You're definitely involved and engaged in something passionate. Your life is basically very happy, and in general happy family. All these things that are going on. You're very stable, and so maybe this grief is just kind of like, oh, I can let go of that old way of being. And that's hard for all of us when we decide that you're doing things that are kind of out of habit. And we all do it, where you're just like, I'm in the habit of doing this particular thing this way. And again, we look around, it's like, oh, well, the world has changed. Nobody cares if I'm doing it this way. So I can change. So grieve that loss and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to stop, readjust myself, make that change so that I'm just not being that way anymore. In your advice position here is the World card. Yeah, perfect balance. I think if you maybe make this little inner adjustment for yourself, it's going to put you in this perfect balance. I mean, you've got two of some of the best cards coming up. Actually, the Fool card too. The Fool card is about just believing that you can be on a new journey and be someone different and be something else. We're going through these different journeys as the Fool continually through our lives as we go through and engage. I mean, you can go through something like this in a week. Some of the Fool's journeys last years. Some of them last a lifetime. But we're all constantly on this journey about ourselves and finding out exactly who we are and how to be in the world. And this is, the advice position is to be in balance, to be in harmony with things, to make discoveries about yourself so that you can be free to be yourself. What is beyond your control this week is a little bit of self-satisfaction. And I would too, this is patting yourself on the back, almost like, oh, I recognize this thing, I grieve this lot, and look, I'm just gonna move on. And it might be something that's so quick and simple, again, something that you've just been doing, and it just doesn't resonate with the new world that we're in right now. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid, is the Justice card, which is all about truth. So is it your secret desire to really know yourself and to understand these things about yourself, or are you trying to avoid that? Different Geminis, of course, might answer differently. I hope that you're in the first part of that group, is trying to know yourself and really trying to get to the truth of, who am I and why do I do this particular thing that feels like me against the world over and over and over again? Why am I doing that over and over again? And let's get to the truth of why, grieve it, and move on so we can be happy about it. I mean, it seems like something that's, not even huge. It's almost like it's a little, maybe a little personality tweak that you're doing, but it's something that you are learning about yourself. In your outcome position is the King of Swords. So this is you being the, King of Swords is what I would call, that's like our Mr. Spock card. This is you being very logical, very, even if how you deal with this. I mean, we do have some cups here. There's a little bit of feeling that comes in with it, but I do feel like a lot of this is just very logical, that you're going to literally take that sword and say, why am I being like that? Let's cut that part out of my life. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm stable, I'm happy, I'm on this fun journey. I've I've got, I'm very satisfied with the way things are going right now. I'm trying to think if there's an element here that I'm not seeing. I mean, yeah, I've come to, I guess everybody's kind of represented evenly. I'm not seeing any numerological things either for you, but the ending is that you just manage this whole thing very logically and very swiftly. The King of Swords is like, knows exactly, using intellect, how to get something done. So you use your mind and you go, this is how I accomplish this thing to get over it. And then I feel it and I go, okay, I'm done, moving on. Perfect balance and harmony. What is hidden from you at the end, at the bottom of the deck here, is it something that this would happen very rapidly and quickly? And it's not like, and maybe because your life slows down a little bit this week, that there is that time for self examination. So, maybe usually things are moving very, very rapidly here, like this Eight of Wands, and it's just not this week. So you've got this little bit of time, this little bit of space to, to either have this brought to your attention somehow or to bring it to your own attention and just kind of make a little inside adjustment for yourself. So, again, don't let your past hold you back. Don't let who you've been in the past hold you back from being something new and fresh in the future, because that's fun. So, all right, let's see what the Soul Oracle deck has to say as a wrap up card for you, Gemini. Final word here for Gemini: begin to explore. Begin to explore who you can be, if not whatever that other person is, right? Who can you be? That's kind of fun. We're all kind of doing that all the time, but I think you've decided here in your recent past to kind of be on a new journey. Who am I? And this can happen. This is something we should all be doing. It's like a reevaluation, reassessment of our life and things that are going on, and then just making the changes that move us more towards happiness. So, all right, let's get a self-care card for Gemini. And the card for you says focus. If you focus on what you don't want, there's a good chance you might get it. Focus on what you do want instead. So that's just a manifestation card, right? That's making a list, and this is manifesting. You can kind of imagine, if you can imagine the person that you want to be, if you want to stop doing or stop being a particular way that you feel like you're bringing in from your past, that has, again, it has no, it doesn't make sense in this new world, then let's try to let go of that. You can focus and you can manifest to be the person that you do want to be. So, Gemini, thank you so much for being here with me this week. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your own life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below, or if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe really helps my channel, and I appreciate that so, so much. So thank you in advance for doing that, Gemini. And also, it'll help you find me next week, and I think that's pretty cool. You can come back and we can see where your journey might go then. So thanks so much, Gemini. Good luck with this, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.